Stocks our strategists feel are poised to deliver positive returns are featured now in their top stock picks of the week.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Zacks Top Stock Picks of the Week. My name is Brian Hayes, and this week I'm joined by fellow Zacks strategist Andrew Rocco. We have two exciting picks for you, so let's jump right in. My top stock pick this week is a global provider of enterprise tax technology solutions for retail trade, wholesale trade, and manufacturing industries. The company offers tax preparation, compliance and reporting services, including work management tools, security, and data migration analytics. I'm referring to Vertex, ticker symbol VERX. Vertex sells its software products and compliance platform through software licenses, as well as software as a service subscription. The company was founded back in 1978, and they're headquartered in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. So that's a bit about the company's background and services. Let's shift gears a bit and take a look at Vertex's industry group. Digging a bit deeper, Vertex is part of the Zacks internet software industry, which is currently ranked in the top 28% out of approximately 250 industries. Because it is ranked in the top half of all Zacks ranked industries, we expect this group to outperform the market over the next 3 to 6 months. Quantitative research studies suggest that about half of a stock's future price appreciation is due to its industry grouping. In fact, the top 50% of Zacks ranked industries outperforms the bottom 50% by a factor of more than 2 to 1. So by targeting stocks contained within leading industry groups, we can dramatically improve our odds of success. And take note of this group's performance lately, particularly over the past month. The stocks in this group showed relative strength and are up more than 11%, widely outperforming the major indices. And also take a look at all of these Zacks rank number 1 strong buy and Zacks rank number 2 buy stocks in this group. This serves as another confirmation signal that this industry is a great place to be for targeting new portfolio additions, as stocks here are experiencing positive earnings estimate revisions, which our research has shown to be the most powerful force impacting stock prices. And also note that stocks in this group are showing above average projected earnings growth, as we can see here. And moving to our snapshot page, we can see that Vertex is a Zacks ranked number 1 strong buy stock. Notice that the company hasn't missed on the earnings mark since the stock became publicly traded back in 2020. Back in August, Vertex reported second quarter earnings of 15 cents a share, a 15.38% surprise over the consensus estimate. And Vertex has delivered a trailing 4-quarter average earnings surprise of 18.49%. So they've been consistently beating earnings estimates, and the stock price is reflecting this. Vertex is outperforming this year and recently broke out to an all-time high. Looking ahead, earnings estimates for the next fiscal year have been increased by 1.43% in the past 60 days. The 2025 Zacks consensus EPS estimate now stands at 71 cents a share, reflecting potential growth of roughly 21% relative to this year. Revenues are projected to climb nearly 14% to $748.3 million. These are exactly the types of trends we want to look for when narrowing down our list of potential stocks. So Vertex, ticker symbol VERX, is my top pick of the week. The company is benefiting from strong earnings and sales growth metrics, and the stock is displaying strong momentum. I see more upside ahead for this company. Thanks for watching, and next up, Andrew will share with you his other top pick.
Okay, thank you, Brian, and welcome everyone. My name's Andrew Rocco. I'm a stock strategist here at Zacks Investment Research. I'm also the manager of the Tech Innovators portfolio, and today I'll be covering my top stock for Tuesday, October 8th. So let's jump into things. My top stock for for the week is going to be MicroStrategy, ticker symbol MSTR. Full disclosure, we own this in the Tech Innovators portfolio. I also own it in my personal portfolio. So just want to disclose that prior, and let's jump into it. So MicroStrategy is a software company that specializes in business intelligence, BI, and analytics. It provides a comprehensive platform that enables organizations to analyze and visualize their data to make informed business decisions. So before its IPO in 1998, MicroStrategy signed its most prominent client, which is McDonald's. And basically, they give the information and the software to help McDonald's kind of choose their most optimal menu. What menu is going to make them the most money? But really, the true story behind MicroStrategy is that it has adopted the Bitcoin standard, and that's behind its former CEO. His name's Michael Saylor. And Saylor had been concerned that the monetary system has been expanding by approximately 7% per year, while inflation tends to rise at a clip of 2% annually. And obviously, in recent years, that inflation spiked up post-COVID. Really, spending on both sides of the aisle has kind of plagued that inflation. Although the rate has come down, I'm in the camp that whether you're on the right side or the left side of the aisle, these politicians are going to continue to spend money. And Bitcoin is going to be a nice way to at least hedge or trade against that, because it has this built-in monetary policy that's deflationary. The amount of Bitcoin will never, ever exceed 21 million. So that's why Michael Saylor, he kind of took this business, this software business that wasn't really growing that fast anymore, but they had a lot of cash, and they put MicroStrategy on what they call a Bitcoin sale. So Saylor said what we were doing was that we were inverting the balance sheet such that we're floating on a Bitcoin sale, on a crypto sale, if you will. And as the liquidity and the monetary system gets pumped up, we want it to float rather than sink on that pool of liquidity. And a lot has changed since Saylor's initial Bitcoin-inspired epiphany. They own hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin worth in the billions. So really, the way that I would look at MicroStrategy is not through that software business. It's really a Bitcoin proxy, and it's a leveraged Bitcoin proxy. And I'm going to explain why I think Bitcoin is going higher, and MicroStrategy will follow suit and even go higher than Bitcoin over the next 6 to 12 months. So one bullish catalyst is the Bitcoin halving. The Bitcoin halving occurs every 4 years, and it reduces the reward for miners. So the way the Bitcoin network works is they have these computer miners that are solving these complex puzzles in the blockchain, and they get rewards for doing so. Basically, they're making sure that the network is secure, that the transactions are going through. But every 4 years, the process decreases the amount of Bitcoin that they get as a reward. And typically, there's some weakness in the beginning after the halving, but 1 year out, that halving is very bullish. You can see in 2012, Bitcoin was at 12 at the halving. 1 year later, it jumped to 964. Incredible move. 2016, it was 663 at the halving, jumped to 2550. 2020 jumped from around 9K to 55K. And this last time at the halving, it was at 63K. So we haven't moved much from the halving, but historical precedent tells us that this should be a bullish catalyst in the coming months. Another thing to watch closely is adoption, actually nation-state adoption. So El Salvador and the state pension fund in Wisconsin have adopted Bitcoin. And what I would say is the pendulum has really swung, and it's now becoming common for governments to adopt Bitcoin. And I don't see this trend stopping. In fact, I see this will turn into a domino effect. So again, one U.S. state has already adopted it. El Salvador has adopted it. Argentina's relatively new president, Javier Milei, he's been open to Bitcoin adoption, or at least making it legal tender in that country. Obviously, they've been plagued by super inflation. And then Donald Trump, who's one of the front runners for president, he has spoken at the Bitcoin conference, and I don't think he's going to adopt it for the US, but he's certainly open to letting the industry move forward. So we've seen a lot of changes on the nation state and political front when it comes to Bitcoin. Now, another catalyst is the FTX repayments. If you guys recall the FTX debacle, it occurred in 2022. Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX blew up. There was some fraud in there. Clients were feared to have lost all of their money, but actually they were able to recover $16 billion in funds, which is all the funds that were missing, because the price of Bitcoin and these other crypto assets has performed so well. So this is one of the rare times when you have fraud like this, a company just goes completely bust, and these clients are going to get their money back. So the reason I see this, and I'm talking about this, is I see this as a bullish catalyst, because they're going to take that 16 billion, which they should get as soon as December. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these clients put it back into crypto assets or Bitcoin, maybe not all of it, but some of these funds will definitely flow back into the industry and act as a bullish catalyst. And can't talk about Bitcoin at this time of the year without talking about seasonality. So you can see since inception, the average October is up roughly 30% for Bitcoin. And in November, the average November is up around 38%. So the seasonality is another factor that is should back the bulls at this juncture, especially this time of the year. And then this chart is showing us the Bitcoin balance, which is the old whales versus the new whales. Essentially what a Bitcoin whale is a large, deep-pocketed investor who buys a bunch of Bitcoin, and they're typically hold for the long haul. So these are not just day traders sitting at home, sitting in their basement, just trading in and out of Bitcoin. These are people who are buying it for the long run and going to hold it. And we just saw both old whales and new whales make new highs here prior to Bitcoin. So that's something that might be able to drive us to a breakout and to drive us to what I think is going to be a 100K price for Bitcoin in 2025. Now, we can't talk about Bitcoin without talking about the institutional adoption. We saw that earlier this year, BlackRock and several other companies, they got their spot Bitcoin ETFs approved. The BlackRock, which is the largest asset manager, their ETF was the most successful of all time, even more successful than the gold ETF 10 or 15 years ago. So we're seeing that these institutions are adopting it. The ETF is helping. Now retirement RIAs are able to access Bitcoin through these ETFs. So even if they're plugging away 1%, 2% of a client's capital to Bitcoin, there's so much capital out there in the retirement space that this will be a long-term catalyst. And this is actually a slide taken from a recent BlackRock presentation. They're showing that the purchasing power of the US dollar has declined significantly over time. They're obviously pitching their ETF. They're saying that that's going to be the answer. So whether you believe them or not, a lot of clients certainly will, and will be buying those ETFs, which in turn will boost Bitcoin and MicroStrategy. And then we have a beautiful monthly setup here. This is a monthly bull flag you're seeing on the Bitcoin chart. Each of these candles represents 1 month. And even though the short-term price action has been challenging to navigate, savvy investors understand the value of zooming out while analyzing a chart. And this chart, if you use the fibs, this will measure to well over 100,000. I expect that to happen in early 2025. Obviously, there's no guarantees, but you can see all the catalysts from the institutions to the fundamental side to the technicals are lining up for higher prices. And one of the reason I'm choosing MicroStrategy as my proxy and not a company like Coinbase or some of the Bitcoin miners here is simply relative strength. A lot of the tech innovator followers and the people who follow my work know that relative strength is one of my bread and butter ways of using analysis. And you can see they were roughly neck and neck, these stocks, Coinbase and MicroStrategy. And over the last 5 or 6 months, MicroStrategy has really broken away and completely decoupled. And not only has MicroStrategy decoupled from Coinbase and the crypto miners, it's actually strong in terms of Bitcoin. So if we see a Bitcoin breakout, it might really break out to the upside based on this relative strength. And then this was another tweet that I saw that really put into context the relative strength versus Bitcoin. You can see the first time Bitcoin got to 66K, MicroStrategy was 133. In May, it got to 66K again. MicroStrategy was at 144. June, 66K for Bitcoin, MicroStrategy 150. And you could see this most recent time, Bitcoin 66K, MicroStrategy 176. So if we do see that Bitcoin breakout after this frustrating kind of choppy range that we've been in, you can expect MicroStrategy to outperform Bitcoin and these other proxies just based on this simple analysis here. And yeah, that wraps it up for my MicroStrategy presentation. I am bullish on the stock over the next 6 to 12 months. You can see MicroStrategy's pretty much outperformed every asset, every stock, including NVIDIA, Arista Networks. And 5 years ago, MicroStrategy had 500 million in cash. Today, they hold 15 billion in Bitcoin. And the stock has outperformed all these stocks. As I said, it's up 1,200% with no signs of stopping. And with Bitcoin on the brink of a historic breakout, we will see Mr. as the best way to kind of ride this trend. So thank you all so much for watching. Again, my name's Andrew Rocco. If you guys do want to learn more about our promotion, please go to zacks.com/promo. And thank you all so much for watching.